And we're going to kick things off talking to the creator of FitMama, Jen Oliver. So we're going to hear kind of how she came to be, how she discovered having this business, and things like answering these questions. I've watched some of the like podcasts and YouTube videos, and it's hilarious when moms get a chance to talk to each other because you feel like they're going through the same insanity. So it's really always nice to get on that level. Things like, will I ever lose the baby weight? Will my body ever recover? How will I find the time to exercise? She discusses sleep, and there's a variety of different things. So we'll talk to her. And then we may get a chance to talk a little bit about blood pressure. There was a new statistic coming out from the America's side of things about our blood pressure and what we should be cautious of, what we should be thinking about, when we should be approaching the doctor, say, okay, well, this is unacceptable. So we'll talk about that. Then we'll be joined by Western, and they'll discuss world-renowned researchers unraveling the mystery of MS. Now, this is the crazy thing. Canada has the highest rate of multiple sclerosis in the world. 1 in 340 Canadians living with the disease. So we're going to talk all about that, the kind of mystery surrounding that as well. And so we'll discuss that. But first, we'll check in with Jen Oliver joining me. Jen, I'm excited to have you here. I'm always excited to talk to other moms. I literally this morning was having a conversation with a coworker, and we were talking about, you know, our kids and how it's probably one of the most deflating things ever. Some of the things your kids say to you, like my daughter will say, I hate you, or I want another mom, or, you know, just from simple things where I said, wear your boots instead of your shoes. And we were both like telling each other stories about things our kids have said to us. You know, you're just like, oh, okay, someone else is going through this too. Yeah. So Jen, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now, like, tell me your journey and how you came to be, you know, creating this company, FitMama.
Oh, well, it was born out of a need, Kara. Really, I figured once I was in the fitness industry training new moms, I really didn't realize how much misinformation and lack of information was actually out there for moms going back to exercise postpartum.
Now, so you were already in the fitness industry prior to having kids?
Yep, I was in the fitness industry for about almost 15 years. Okay. I had been training people, doing personal training, working. I was a GM of a gym for a couple of years. And I did go back to training. I ended up going back to school after my beginning in the fitness industry because I really wanted to learn more about the exercise and health psychology aspect of fitness. So I really found while I was working in the gym that people were really keen when they'd start coming in, and then over time they would drop off and they wouldn't show up anymore. And for me, working in the gym, I really cared about these people being consistent and maintaining these behaviors, not just getting so excited and then never showing up again. So that's when I went back to school and I started exploring more about the psychology side. However, once I had my kids and I got back into the mode of working, as you said, it's a very thankless job being a mom. So it was like, okay, I got to get out of the house and do a little something. So I got back into personal training. And that's when I really, really noticed that there was a disconnection and a lack of understanding of what really needed to go on to help women rehabilitate their cores once they had had their babies.
Yeah, do you find there was a huge difference in your knowledge or even your awareness, like prior to having kids, training people that were either pregnant or postpartum versus after you had your own?
Absolutely. And it's one of those things that you really just can't believe, understand, or feel until you go through it. Even the lack of sleep, even the, you know, you're like, oh, I'm sure I could get through that, right? As athletes, it's like we can handle anything. Until you're up half the night and you're like, okay, I can't function as a human being right now. How do I move on, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely the experience for me, I had my kids and went back into fitness just as if nothing had happened, and realized shortly thereafter when I gave myself a back injury from a weak core that I actually didn't know everything I needed to know, and I had a lot to learn. So that's when I started really plowing through the research, going to extra certifications, learning online, anywhere that I could about postpartum fitness, and specifically the deep inner core. Because as fitness trainers and, you know, even in a degree in kinesiology, I truly did not know the intricacies of the function, which is the physiology, and the anatomy of how things change when you're growing a baby in there, how the breathing pattern changes, how all the muscles work together and then don't work together, and how you have to help them work together again.
I blame the celebrities.
For sure. They're always
they're huge, pregnant. I'm having 8 kids inside of me. I'm a house, and
then I'm
they're out, and I'm back.
Yeah,
you know,
and nothing in between.
No, nothing. Now you have written the book, The Love Fit Mama Way, Transforming the Core of Motherhood. So, and this was brought to me because my trainer was like, you have to read this book. It's so good. And the psychology she expressed to me after reading this book was kind of like the love of yourself has to be huge, because we really beat ourselves up, right?
Oh,
I have to get back right away. And you have these expectations of your body bouncing back, although you carried even when I was pregnant, I was like, there's a human. There's like a human in there living, you know? And it
has to come out somehow.
Yeah, and then you have these expectations of just once it's out, you're back to normal, and it's not necessarily like that.
And I give the example of a house, and it's like you have your house, and your deep inner core is like the foundation of the house. So you're growing a baby in there, and basically that baby kind of ransacks the basement, vandalizes it, catches it on fire. The thing doesn't work at all anymore, and then we go, 6-week checkup, no prob, jump back in to do burpees and running all over town in the boot camp. It just doesn't work that way, unfortunately, and I tried it, and it really taught me an experience that I could not have been taught any other way, which unfortunately was through an injury, but rehabilitating myself and realizing that, there is so much pressure that may be put on by us, by society, but we actually have to choose to accept that pressure or not accept it and take care of ourselves in that loving way instead.
What would you say would be one of the biggest myths out there? Like when you started doing research, or you started having these expectations of yourself bouncing back and realizing, there's a tremendous pain I'm experiencing because I just ran too early, or I did this too early. What were some of the myths out there?
One of the major one is definitely that you can go back to do anything 6 weeks after you have a baby, which is the absolute biggest no-no. And then once women do go back to exercise around 6 weeks or later, whenever that is, that we should go into these conventional abdominal exercise type of movements, or really heavy running or boot camps where we think we have to, burn lots of calories fast, do all this stuff, but our bodies are really just not ready for that. So no amount of wanting it in your head is going to make your deep inner core functional in that way. And so that's one of the things that I really, from my perspective, I'm always giving the PSA that all new moms want to go see a pelvic floor physiotherapist. They are out there. We have a number of great ones in our city and all around Canada and the US. You can find a pelvic floor physio, pelvic health physio. And these physios actually check the inner core. They check your pelvic floor. They see how it's working. We think that we need to tighten everything up after, but Kegels is actually not the answer. Sometimes it's that we need to relax and release and stretch out. And so there's so many little nuances, and a pelvic floor physio is one of the first lines of defense. If you are feeling any of the symptoms of postpartum, like heaviness down in your pelvis, which could be a sign of a prolapse, back pain, really low lower back pain, SI joint pain, very commonly, which was my issue, a weak deep inner core, which you think, I'll just lift heavier, I'll just run harder. It doesn't work that way. It really requires rehab. And the last one, the most common one, is that peeing your pants as a new mom is normal. And it might be common, but Kara, honestly, it is not normal. And the physio can help you, and a proper training regime can help you, and a core rehabilitation program can absolutely help.
The reason I laugh is because of, and my poor producer Chris, I hear these stories, and he's like a 27-year-old guy, and I'm like,
better go now
babies,
later, right?
Prepare them. But I just remember, it's funny to me because I remember, like, I coach professional fighters, right? And I have a group of men, and I'm showing them like all these tricks with the skipping rope, and or in America they say jump rope. So it's like even the verbiage is different. And I remember thinking that like I'm literally peeing my pants as I'm skipping and showing these big buff guys like how to do this, and I'm trying to keep like this serious, like I'm a scary coach, and you go through all these things as a woman, and I know that everyone has different experiences. Like my daughter at 6 weeks, I was able to run. I got a jogger stroller, and it was great. Wow. And then my son, I ran after 6 weeks. I thought my pelvic floor was going to fall out. Yeah. Then again at 2-3 months, same thing. It like literally, even over a year, it just wasn't.
No. And especially 2 kids. Like, it depends how far you have them apart
Right.
too, but they say at a minimum 3 to 5 years. And even that, if you haven't done the proper rehab, if you don't have a physio that you're seeing regularly that's helping you, make sure things are too tight, things are too loose, things are moving in this way, because our organs actually move, right? And they need for sure more than 6 weeks to move back into place
right.
and function, so that we don't have one of our organs falling through the pelvic floor and us needing surgeries or other.
Yeah, you don't need to be
like
running
that.
and like, oh, there's my uterus on the ground.
Definitely not.
Well, when we come back for the break, I want to talk about your book, The Love Fit Mama Way, and transforming the core, but what you can learn. And I want to talk a little bit about the psychology, because I know you discuss things like the magical number, right? You have this, we all have this number in our head, and self-worth and weight and different things like that. So if there are people out there, struggling, and it's really hard to be kind to yourself. It really, really, truly is. So we'll talk all about that. And again, we're talking to Jen Oliver, the creator of Fit Mama. You can find her online, lovefitmama.com. You can also find her at jenoliver.com. The book can be found on Amazon, Kindle. There's a variety of different ways to find it. And it's called The Love Fit Mama Way, Transforming the Core of Motherhood. So there may be someone even you're thinking about for Christmas or something that you're like, oh my God, they need this information. So we'll talk more about that. It's Kara Rowe on the TKO Show. Welcome back to the TKO Show, and we are talking to the creator of Fit Mama, Jen Oliver, and with 2 kids herself and being a personal trainer for several years, and then transitioning into motherhood and realizing, wow, there's so much out there that we as moms don't know about the health of our bodies, how to kind of find our way back to the body that we really would like to have. She is the author of The Love Fit Mama Way, Transforming the Core of Motherhood. You can find that on Amazon, Kindle, a variety of different bookstores as well. And you can find her website at jenoliver.com. You can also find it at lovefitmama.com. So a variety of different ways. You have a lot of podcasts. A lot of them are hilarious. I think it's always funny. For some reason, as moms, we sometimes are supposed to take this persona like, wow, everything's wonderful. It's great. I love my kids. Everything's... And meanwhile, when you talk to other moms, you're like, I'm going to kill this child. They won't do that. Like, you get some of those similar experiences, and you get a chance to share that and, share in the pain as well, and see that other people are going through this as well. Maybe your body didn't bounce back. Maybe you're not getting sleep. Because you hear some of the moms that are like, oh, my kid sleeps for 12 hours. And all you feel is like rage in your eyes.
Very
like,
much right.
Get away from me. I'm up 7 times a night. My daughter, who's 4, still crawls into bed. I said, don't come into my bed tonight, please, honey. Just let mommy sleep. I'm tired. Well, I'm coming in to see you. And I said, well, then I'm going to have to leave. And then I have to go into your bed to sleep. It's a mess. And she goes, well, I'll follow you. And I was like, okay, Chucky. Like, this is just, what is this 4-year-old having this conversation? And I know you address things like getting back in shape, loving yourself, finding ways to get better sleep. I mean, this is a lot of great information and a resource for moms. Let's talk about the book and when you decided to write the book and why.
Well, I decided to write the book after I found that there were certain themes that I was noticing with all my clients. So I transitioned out of personal training into online coaching, where I was able to work with people globally, and realizing that a lot of the stuff that I was teaching them really had not a lot to do with the physical aspects that we're so consumed with when we're trying to lose weight or get back our body or whatever these usual things are. And it's actually the precursor or pre-part to the nutrition, to the exercise, to the sleep that really makes the biggest difference. It's like what happens before that. And so a lot of the stuff that I work on with the new moms is around embracing their new role as a mom. Because so often we have our baby and then we want everything to be exactly the same. Yes, within our body and what it looks like for sure. But even with our life, we go, I want my house to always be clean, my dishes always to be done, my laundry to be done. And these are actually so impossible standards to hold ourselves to. So we feel disappointed. We start to put down ourselves. We look in the mirror, things don't look the same. We start to bring up this regret, shame, guilt, resentment, fear, and this whole cacophony of emotions that really don't have a place and don't need to have a place for a new mom.
Do you feel like you ever felt guilt before having kids? I look back because I've always been a good person. I've always tried to help people, and I don't really think I've experienced any sort of guilt until I had kids, and now you spend like every day with guilt of something. Like you said, I should get this done in the house. I should pick the kids up. I should make more time for this. Like you're always feeling, now you can't volunteer as much with organizations because you have the kids. And it's weird how much guilt you feel after having kids.
Well, it's an interesting, I feel like it's almost a misplaced emotion, and we don't know really where it's supposed to go. Because before we had kids, we didn't feel guilt because we didn't go murder someone. We didn't go trip people or yell at homeless people. We just didn't do things that make you feel guilty. But we still don't do those things, yet we use that word in the mom area. So it's really interesting. I think what we actually feel is a lack of control, and we feel a lack of support, or we feel a lack of tools, or we feel lack in some way, so it brings on that feeling of guilt.
Tools is a good word. Yeah, because they always say, there's no handbook, and you really feel that
you're
after.
given a baby, and then you go, what? How I have to keep this thing alive and fed and healthy and happy and not sick and
Right.
It's overwhelming.
No,
it's really what it is.
It's great. And in terms of the book, what can people learn from this and take away from the book?
So the book is really about, step one is how to embrace that new role of mom. The second part of the book is all about nurturing you, because we look at fitness and nutrition and dieting and all that as very aggressive. It's very yang, if you will, if you know the yin and yang, right? The yin is very like calm and peaceful, feminine, and the yang is very aggressive and hard. And that's where we go to, because we're used to that. A lot of us as athletes or warrior type A women, we go, okay, I got to get the most bang for my buck and bust it out at the gym. But actually in that time, that's not what we need. It's all about nurturing, self-care, and taking time and space for you, which as new moms, we know is like very few and far between. Right.
No, so it's first as kind of teaching you how to give yourself permission to like chill out. Like
Exactly. It's all about permission, patience, and presence to really be there and just enjoy the experience. It's all there for you to love and accept it, but we try and control things. We try and have the baby sleep at this time or eat this or do this. And it's like, this is something that we're putting ourselves in a place where we can't possibly demand that they sleep when we want them to. And so it sets us up for failure. So the whole book is really just about embracing, nurturing, and enjoying your motherhood journey from within.
So like from a coaching perspective, it's like to be a little bit more like water, where you're fluid and kind of go with the flow as opposed to being
and
rigid.
I talk about living and getting comfortable in the gray. We're very black and white. We're like, I'm fit or I'm not fit. I'm this or I'm not. I'm eating healthy or I'm not. I did well or I'm good or I'm bad. We use all this very binary terminology. It's on or off. And with being a new mom, you just got to go with the flow. You got to be in that gray zone where you're like, I don't even know if they're going to sleep today. But you know what? If I hold all my marbles in this, I'm going to lose them all because I'm going to go crazy.
Do you think it's helpful? I only have a minute left, but do you think it's helpful too do you ever discuss this with spouses and say, you just have to be supportive of whichever direction? Like, you know what I mean? There's kind of that talk that you can have, like, where the spouse can be, like, because sometimes if Mark will say, Kara, just sit down. Like, just leave.
Well, that's a great point. And just to finish off on this, we often want support from our partners, but we don't know how to ask for it. And I talk about this in my book, Asking for Help. But the flip side of that is receiving the help. Asking for it and receiving it are actually two very different things.
Because we have this martyrism in our body.
Right?
Or
we want to be able to do it all. I can do it. I can handle it. Meanwhile, we're in a puddle in the corner, not functioning properly.
Right. I've decided the word super mom because someone had said that to me. I'm like, it just means like superficial, like I'm cleaning on the surface. I'm not really digging, because you don't want to ask for help or you receive help. That's such a great point. Jen, thank you. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. It flew by. Wow. Jen Oliver, the creator of FitMama. You can find the book online, The Love FitMama Way, Transforming the Core of Motherhood, talking about from the psychology all the way to your body. A lot of great information. You can find her online as well, lovefitmama.com or jenoliver.com.